This is section 1.5. We're going to be solving linear equations. I'm just going to do a few examples from the notes, so make sure to look at the notes on Canvas. It'll give you all of the examples. Okay, so for example 1, we've got 2x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, so this one's a two-step equation. So first of all, we need to move the 8 to the other side. So we'll do the opposite. We'll add the 8. And we get 2x equals 8. And then we need to get rid of the 2. So it's being multiplied right now. We'll do the opposite and divide by 2. And we get our answer is 4. You can always check your answer. I won't show a check for all of the problems, but for this first one, I'll just remind you how you can check your answer. Remember that you just put what you got back in for x and see if it's the same on both sides of the equation. And we get 8 minus 8, which does equal 0. So this one checks out. We also can identify, classify the equations. If we get one solution, it's considered a conditional equation. Okay, let's try another one. Part B. I've got -5 times the quantity 3 minus 2x minus the quantity 1 minus x equals 4 times the quantity x minus 3. Okay, in this one we need to distribute first. So I'm going to distribute the -5 through and get -15 plus 10x. And then I'll distribute the negative through, which, remember, if there's not a number written, there's known to be a 1 there. So really we're distributing a -1 through. Okay, so we've got -1 plus x equals, and then we'll distribute this 4 through. So we've got 4x minus 12. In this one, we're going to need to combine like terms next. So we've got x terms here, and we've got constants here. So we've got -16 plus 11x equals 4x minus 12. Okay, and my cat is hanging out near the camera, so just one second. Okay, now we can get the x's on the same side of the equation. So I'm going to subtract the 4x because I don't like working with negative numbers if I can help it. So I'm going to get the x's on the same side. I've got -16 equals 7x, plus 7x equals -12. And then we'll finish getting x by itself. So we'll add 16. We've got 7x equals 4. And then divide by 7 on both sides. And we get x equals 4/7. Again, we got one solution, so this is a conditional equation. Okay, so let's try a couple more. Part C. I've got 5x minus 1 equals 5x plus 4. Again, we'll get the x's on the same side of the equation, so I'm going to subtract 5x. But in this one, on both sides, the x cancels out. So we get -1 equals 4. Well, when this happens, that means no matter what we try to plug into that equation, it's never going to work. So we get no solution for this equation. And if we want to classify it, it's a contradiction. Okay, part D, I've got 1/2 times the quantity x minus 2 plus 5 equals 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, so we'll distribute first. 1/2 x minus, remember, and this one's a simpler one, 1/2 of 2 is just 1, but if you want to remember your fraction rules, remember that you can put a whole number over 1, and when you're multiplying fractions, you're just multiplying the tops and multiplying the bottoms, so we get 2 over 2, which gives us 1. Okay, then we'll combine like terms on this side. So we've got 1/2 x plus 4 equals 1/2 x plus 4. Notice we've got the same thing on both sides of the equation. You could keep going. You could subtract 4 from both sides and then divide by 1/2. But as soon as you see that it's the same on both sides, that means all real numbers is the answer. No matter what number you plug in for x, you're going to get the same thing on both sides, so it's going to work. So all real numbers is your answer, and if you want to classify it, it's an identity. Okay, just one more example. Part E, they give me 2x minus 1 all over 4 minus 3 equals 8 minus x all over 2. I wanted to do one like this with fractions to show you that you could get rid of the fractions to make it easier to solve. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get rid of the fractions. I look at the denominators and look for the greatest common denominator. In this case, it would be 4. Both 4 and 2 go into 4. So I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 4. And let me show it out in steps. So I'm going to multiply 4 times each term. And remember that your 4, you can put it over 1. So if it helps you, the 4 is in the numerator. We did this because now the 4 is on top and a 4 is on bottom. They cancel out. So we're just left with 2x minus 1 minus, nothing cancels here. We've just got 4 times 3. And then, again, you can write 4 over 1 if it helps you. 2 goes into 4 twice. And we can just distribute the 2 across. So we get 16 minus 2x. Okay, let's go ahead and add the like terms here. 2x minus 13 equals 16 minus 2x. I'll go ahead and add 2x to both sides. 4x minus 13 equals 16. Add the 13. And we get 4x equals 29. And finally divide by 4. Okay, and because we got one solution, this one is a conditional equation. Okay, so make sure to look at my notes on Canvas to see any extra examples and try out the homework page.